Today we're going to be moving forward through chapter 5. As we move forward in this chapter, one of the things I want to tell you right now with your postulate sheet, I put the postulate sheet up there because of the fact that as we go through this chapter, you might want to fill in as you go. Now, the postulate sheet is not perfectly in order with the chapter, mainly because of these 4 on top, because those are 4 things that are essentially things that would kind of flow over from chapter 2, and we'll talk about those a little bit more as we get to them. Otherwise, once you get past those first 4 on your postulate sheet, then for the most part these go at least fairly close to in order as our notes. On Friday, we talked about the triangle angle sum theorem, which says that angles of a triangle add up to what? 180 degrees. And if you want to fill this in as we go, you're welcome to. I'm not going to do it on a regular basis, but essentially, this is what we came across on Friday. That the 3 angles of a triangle add up to 180.
Oh, you took my advice? I told you to make one of these.
I was already going to make one of them.
You called me stupid when I told you to make one.
No, I didn't.
You said like something and it made me sound dumb.
I think if anything it was, I'm going to make one.
I'm already on Friday.
What, Skylar?
Oh. Yeah, sorry, I must be.
Okay, but anyway.
Did you want a pumpkin?
No,
Oh, I
please
do.
put it away. And that's a gourd.
Yeah, let's do the real. What is that thing?
It's a gourd. Put it away for now.
That ain't no pumpkin. You want to see a real pumpkin? I think I thought a real pumpkin.
Put them away for now, please.
That's a pumpkin.
So, today we are on page 5 of our notes packet. We're continuing forward with section 5.1. 5.1 introduced us to the triangle angle sum theorem, which says the angles of a triangle, the interior angles specifically, add up to 180. Today we're going to introduce the fact that we have the exterior angle theorem as well. If we come across this in a proof, it will be called EXT for exterior, angle symbol. Theorem is THM. The exterior angle theorem says the measure of the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the non-adjacent interior angles. Okay. So, key thing here, the measure of an exterior angle. Starting there. An exterior angle is an angle that when you extend one side of the shape, here's my triangle, I extended the one side this way. That extension makes an angle with the other side of the triangle, and that is known as an exterior angle. So in this case, it's angle 1. The measure of the exterior angle of the triangle is equal to. So measure angle 1 equals the sum. What does sum mean?
Total.
Total as in what operation?
Add.
Adding. We're going to be adding the non-adjacent interior angles. We've seen the word adjacent angles. Adjacent means the ones right next to one another. Non-adjacent means the one not next to the exterior angle. In this picture, the exterior angle, angle 1, is next to this angle. The ones it's not right next to, what are their names? B and A. Measure angle A plus measure angle B.
Late.
You sit behind Isaiah. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to solve for the missing angle measure. I see this picture. I notice that one of the sides has been extended to make one of my angles. Now, do you see it's a question mark?
Yeah.
Do we generally do question marks in math equations?
No.
No, we put X's. So I'm going to change that to an X.
Bro, I'm gonna have to switch spots. I don't do bugs. It's too many bugs.
Okay. So, that is an exterior angle. And according to this theorem, the exterior angle is the addition of the two angles not right next to it. Now, X is right here. Is the 29-degree angle, it's in one of the interior angles, is it right next to the exterior or no?
No.
No, which means it goes into the equation. What about the 56?
No.
No, it goes into the equation. X is equal to whatever 29 plus 56 is.
85.
X equals 85. Yeah. Exterior angle theorem, especially in these ones, is not bad. Okay? Question B. I see a question mark. I'm going to change it to an X. Do we have an exterior angle?
Yeah.
Which one's the exterior angle? It's 150 degrees because it's an extension of a side and the other side together make that angle. The exterior angle is the one that is equal to the other two added together. The two that are added together are the ones that are not right next to the 150. Which ones are not right next to the 150?
The 104 and our X.
The X and the 104, A and B in this case. X plus 104. It doesn't matter what order you add them in.
Yeah.
It was not a question. I said it doesn't. I want to solve for X. What am I going to do?
Minus 104.
Minus 104. 46 is equal to X, or I prefer X equals 46. Okay, next one says solve for X. Same process, slightly different setup. Which angle is the exterior angle?
The 2x minus 5.
2x minus 5 because the extension of the side and the other side are making it. That one equal to the 2 inside of it, not right next to it,
X and 70.
X and 70 added together. And we're solving. I'm going to subtract my X. I'm going to add the 5. Y'all know how to solve.
So if this is geometry, why is there more algebra than geometry?
Because the equations are built using geometry, the equation itself solves using algebra.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Skylar, can you shut the front door?
Okay. B. Exterior angle.
Can you scoot over a little bit?
This way.
Yeah.
You're so silly.
Okay. Which one was the exterior?
125.
The 125, because it was made with the extension of the side and the side. 125 equals the two not right next to it, but inside.
16x minus 5 plus 9x plus 5.
The key thing is you can't use this one.
Shiz.
cards. So, our next thing we are going to do is simplify. Zay, if I want to simplify this equation, what's that going to look like?
9x minus 16x.
They're on the same side, so I don't minus them.
Oh,
Add them. 16 plus 9 is 25.
yeah, and then add the negative 5 and the 5.
Negative 5 plus 5 is?
I don't know.
0.
Yeah.
125 doesn't get touched.
Like 5 is x equals
5
5.
by 25, x equals 5. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see happening in this chapter, and I did mention this a little bit last time, is that people are not answering the question fully.
Yeah.
Did we answer the question completely on those?
Yeah.
What were the instructions?
Find the measure that we gotta solve for x, so we're not.
It said solve for x. So we were done. If we find x on these ones, are we done?
No, because we gotta find the exterior angle.
Because we have to find the exterior angle. Many of the people, with one exception, that turned in their homework assignment from Friday on Friday, one person finished the problems.
No.
Everyone else did not read the instructions and solved for x and turned it in. Make sure you're reading the instructions.
Who is that one person?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I will hand them back and people will get the opportunity to finish. Okay. So, find the measure of the exterior angle. To find the measure of the exterior angle, I first got to find x, which means I need to write my equation.
Which is gonna be-
Adrian, what does the equation look like here?
11x minus 2 equals 5x plus 5 plus 65.
Good. Yes.
Can we add 11x minus 2 to the other side? Can we equal like that?
No.
No?
No, because that's what we're solving. That's supposed to stay on that side. We can do the 11x, right? Correct?
That's what I'm saying.
Pause.
Oh,
I don't
no.
stop.
I like where he was going.
Okay, so could we write it as 5x plus 5 plus 65 is equal to 11x?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I just tend to follow the theorem exactly. So, okay, Dominic, I want to solve this. What are you going to tell me to do? And what am I going to get?
11x minus 2 equals 5x plus 70.
You got it. Brody, what would you tell me to do next? $11x equals 5x plus 72. Kellen, what would you tell me to do next?
Subtract 5x, which would be 6x, and then
6x equals 72. Colin, what would you tell me to do next?
Divide 72 divided by 6.
Divide by 6. X is equal to?
Well,
Well, thank you.
yeah.
You sit behind Emma. And then I box in my answer because I'm done?
No.
No.
It equals 130.
Where are you getting the 130 from, Skylar?
I plugged in my 12
You plug 12 in where?
to 11x minus 2.
To 11x minus 2. Now, 11 times 12 is 132. Minus 2 is 130. But What's the name of that angle? Parker, grab a seat.
QED.
Measure of angle QED. Can I call it angle E?
No,
Yeah.
there's two different angles.
I got no and I got yeah.
There's two different
If
angles.
I call it angle E, I'm going to ask you, do you mean this angle E or
Oh,
this
no.
angle E or the big one?
No.
No. Has to be the 3-letter name. Okay, one more problem on this page. Carson, what would the equation look like for this last problem?
6x plus 13 equals x plus 8 equals 45.
Equals?
Plus 45?
There we go. The outside one equals the two inside that are not right next to it added together. Now, that's kind of a squishy triangle. It's kind of hard to tell that they're not right next to it, but I promise they aren't. Gesundheit. Combined like terms, 8 plus 45 is 150, or not 100, is 53. Subtract my x. 5x plus 13 equals 53, minus the 13.
40.
5x equals 40, and divide by 5.
8.
8.
8.
61.
But remember, you're not done. Shh. Seriously. And Skylar, also you, because you're a little bit ahead of us. Make sure you're plugging it back in.
Shut up, bro.
This angle, its name is angle
YCD.
YCD. 3-letter name. Make sure that middle letter is the vertex. 6 times 8 plus 13. 6 times 8 is 48 plus 13 is indeed, as Skylar told us, 61. We're not done. We're done with this problem, but we're not done with notes.
Can you move up to like the very top?
No, because we're not done with notes. I gotta keep going forward
I'm scared of ladybugs.
during work time.
I'm scared of ladybugs. I move you back.
For today, if you want to sit behind Kellen, go ahead. Actually, Zay, why don't you come right over here? That's an empty desk. That'll be your new assigned seat.
Hey, okay. The big one or little one?
In front of Julian.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell yeah.
Please, you're gonna steal my goldfish.
Hell yeah.
Okay, language. Okay. So, all of you, shut up.
Oh.
Okay. So, generally speaking, when it comes to our problems, you're gonna see a couple different versions. You're gonna see the situations like we dealt with on Friday where you have the interior angle theorem. You're gonna see the ones today where we have the exterior angle theorems. Sometimes you're solving for a single angle, sometimes you're solving for x, sometimes you are plugging it back in to find the measure of a specific angle. Another type of problem that looks different but is the same thing is going to be on the next page, on the top of page 6, or throughout page 6. This one says find the measure of the numbered angles. In other words, we're looking for multiple angles. In order to do this, you're going to put together what you know about interior angles and exterior angles and mix all that information together. The numbered angles, how many of them are there in this first picture?
I see
One.
No, numbered angles. There's 3. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3. Those are the only ones without a degree symbol. The other ones are measurements. So I'm looking for 3 different answers here. To find them, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not always going to go in numerical order. Angle 1 is not always going to be the easiest one to find first. The order you're going to go in is you're going to look at the triangle that you have the most information about. Which triangle do I know 2 of the 3 angles on?
The left one.
This one. And that's generally, not always, but that's generally going to be the key thing that's going to help you figure out where to start. Because this angle, or this triangle, I know 2 of the 3 angles. And I know angles of a triangle add up to what number again?
180 degrees.
180 degrees. Which means I can find the measure of this angle by doing 180 minus each of these 2.
40.
Measure angle 1 equals 40. Once I have that information, I put it in the picture. Because it's going to help me find the other angles. Now I can use the fact that angles of a triangle add up to 180, or the other thing I tend to just use, because I can use the exterior angle theorem, it works, it's beautiful. The other thing I just tend to use is I know what straight lines look like, and I know what a straight angle's measure is. What's the measure of a straight angle? 180. Now, angle 3 is not a part of a straight angle. Angle 2, on the other hand, is part of a straight angle. It is not a straight angle in itself, but do you see this straight angle right here? That's a straight angle, which means the measure of all of this from here to here is 180 degrees. Not 40.
Oh, you don't.
180 minus the parts of it I know will give me the part I don't know.
So what?
Minus 40
Oh,
and minus 101.
39.
39.
not bad.
That's the measure of angle 2.
Is it next one to be 38?
I don't think so, but I don't actually know the answer to it off the top of my head.
Shouldn't be jumping the gun. Go to page of the box.
Shh. Okay. This is now a 39-degree angle. I just found it. Once I know that's a 39-degree angle, I notice that this triangle, now I know 2 of its 3 angles. And the 3 angles of a triangle still add up to 180. So I can take the 180 minus the 2 angles I know again, which are 39 and 64. No, it is not 38.
57. Because 180 minus 48. I just know, sorry.
You're close.
I messed up.
I believe it's 77.
Well, you got 90, you got 101, yeah, that sounds about the street like something around that area.
So measure angle 3 equals 77.
Miss Benson,
Yes.
pass your sheets.
Why?
The bugs.
No.
I'll sit over there, teach.
For today, you can sit behind Kellen.
Where's that?
Kellen's right there. At some point, y'all gotta deal with the bugs. So, this last set of problems, essentially, you'll have to do multi-steps to get the others. It's gonna be harder to get some than others. So you look for the pieces where you know the most information.
I'm thinking.
Shh. Okay. How many unknown angles are in this picture?
3,
4.
4.
4. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. So, I'm going to look for the triangle that I have the most information about. Do I know 2 of the 3 angles in one of those 2 triangles? Maybe?
I see 50 and 50.
Bottom triangle, we know 2 of the angles. So I am going to start on measure of angle 1 here. Will it always be starting on angle 1?
No.
No. 3 angles of a triangle. If I'm looking at the 3 in a triangle, they add up to 180.
I think I use 80.
So 180 minus the 50 and the 50 is 80 degrees.
You knocked us a point right there since you forgot the degrees.
No. There are other things I can use to my advantage though as well. So far we've kind of just used angles of a triangle add up to 180, and we've used the fact that if you've got a straight angle, all of the angles that make it will add up to 180, but you also have other angle pairs that you can deal with, like vertical angles. I got an X going on here. Angle 1 and angle 2 are across from one another. Vertical angles, are they supplementary or congruent? I heard both supplementary and congruent. If only I had a yellow sheet of paper that still tells me it.
Yeah, that's too much.
They are congruent. So if the measure of angle 1 is 80, what's the measure of angle 2? 80?
8. Yeah.
Angle 3, I have a couple of options. I can use the fact that it's an exterior angle, therefore it's the sum of the non-adjacent interior angles, or I can use the fact that it's a part of a straight angle. For example, this straight angle. Straight angles add up to 180, therefore those 2 angles add up to 180. So it's 100, because 180 minus the 80 I know would give me 100. The only angle I'm missing is angle 4. Because it's an angle inside of a triangle, I can subtract the 2 angles I know from 180. It's 49. You can't figure out some of them without figuring out other ones first. Okay, I'm going to be going to my name cards quite a bit at this point. Question C, there's 3 unknown angles. Angle 1, angle 2, angle 3. Elena, which one do you think is going to be the easiest to find first? 3. Because in this triangle, I know 2 of the angles. Elena, I'm going back to you. How did you find it?
What do you mean?
How would you find angle 3? So what math would you do?
180 subtract 70.
And the 70 came from the 20 and the 50?
Yeah.
110.
Would he knock us points if we didn't have the measure of angle 3?
Yes. You do need to write measure of angle and the angle you're talking about. Otherwise, I'm going to ask, well, which one's the 110? The 1, the 2, the 3? I don't know. And if you tell me angle 3 equals 110 instead of without the m, you're saying the name of angle 3 is 110. It's not. It's 3. Okay? This is 110 degrees. Caleb, which angle do you think you should find next?
I was thinking 2 initially.
I would go with 2. Especially since we don't have enough information for 1. You have to find angle 2 next. How would we find angle 2? I see it's inside of a triangle, but I don't know the other 2, so I can't use that. Do you see any straight angles associated with it? Yeah.
3 is LP postulate.
Yeah, it's a linear pair. Those 2 form a linear pair, therefore they add up to 180. Or you can look at it as, if I've got a straight angle here, all of the angles next to it add up to 180. Either way, you're getting the same thing. 180 minus the angle we just had, 110 is 70. Or you can use the fact that angle 2 is a remote interior angle, and therefore is the sum of the opposite non-adjacent interior angles. Either way, I'm going to get it 70. There's a lot of different ways to approach these problems that should get you the same answers as long as you're doing good math. Emma, angle 1 is left. How do you think we'd find it? Do you see that it's inside of a triangle? Do you know the other 2 angles in that triangle? What do angles of a triangle add up to? So I take 180 minus the 2 I know. 180, the 2 we know are 49 and 70. $61? Y'all got calculators. No, there's a number of these examples because these are the ones that trip people up the most. So I want to get the group practice the most on these ones. Okay, 4 unknown angles. Angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. Zay, which angle do you think is going to be the best one to find first? Angle 2. One on the top, I agree, because I know 2 of the angles in that triangle. Angles in a triangle still add up to 180. Minus 60 minus 30, I get 90. Yeah. Which angle would you like to find next?
4.
How would you find angle 4?
69 and 90.
I have no clue what you just said. Can you repeat it?
I don't know.
I heard something about 90. Were you thinking it was 90? Is that what I caught?
90.
It is 90. Because these 2 are what kind of angle pairing? Anyone? Congruent is not an angle pairing, but they are congruent. They're vertical angles, and therefore they are congruent.
Angle 3 is congruent to 90 degrees too. Got it?
Why is it 90 degrees, Skylar?
Because angle 2 and angle 4 are 90 degrees.
Okay, why does that one make that one 90 though?
It's on the same angle.
Namely, is it because they make this straight line here? So those 2 add up to 180, and 180 minus 90 is,
So both of those are
90.
right angle.
yeah. In fact, there is a rule, and I did talk about this, and maybe Skylar, this is what you were trying to get at, is if you have 2 lines crossing, you got 1 right angle, you don't have 1, you have 4. All 4 of them are right angles. Okay. We got one angle left to go on that picture. It's this one here. Triton. How do you think you can go about finding it? Do you notice you know two of the angles in that triangle? What do the angles of the triangle add up to? So 180 minus those two. $21? Someone with calculator verify my math?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. I'm gonna skip over E. I just want to talk about one thing left on F because F's got one tiny little change of something you can see. There's three unknown angles, angle 1, angle 3, and angle 2. Do you notice that next to angle 3 and angle 2, there's that right angle there? Is either angle 2 or angle 3 individually equal to 90? No. But together, they add up to 90 because they are adjacent angles that have this 90 here. Isaac, which angle makes most sense to find first? Why 2? Did you say you don't know? Or did I mishear you? Yeah, because you know the 2 inside that triangle. And angles of a triangle, all 3 of them still add up to 180. 180 minus the 86 minus the 39 is 55. Now we're going to use the right angle to our advantage. That's a right angle, which means these two add up to 90. If they add up to 90, 90 minus the part I know gives me the rest of it. Did you say 45? 35, that makes more sense. Maddie, how would I find the final angle? Got it. It's one of 3 angles within a triangle, so I subtract them both. 83? Good. So, you might get some of these multi-step problems as well. Are there going to be this many of the multi-step problems? No. But I do this much practice on the multi-step because the biggest challenge with this is getting used to what order to go in. We are done with notes for today. Okay. I'm just pausing in order for people to finish writing down, otherwise I'm going to flip to the front. Today we did 5.1 part 2. Today is the 28th, which means our homework's due the 30th. We're on page 228 again. This time day 2. Again, please make sure you write down day 2. Problem numbers 13 through 16. 27 through 34. Now, I believe 27 through 34 is kind of like the multi-step problems that we just did, but it's not like a bunch of different multi-step problems. It's one big multi-step problem. As a result, you might want to do 27 through 34 out of order because it's not always best to find the measure of angle 1 first. So you might just want to write them down and then this one's best to find first. Well, that's the answer to question 30. This one's best to write next. Well, that's the answer of question 28. Am I kind of making sense?
Yeah.
If not, ask me when you get to those problems.